And we are live. This is Robert Weichelt with eXp with another episode of Weichelt Wednesday. Today we have a special guest, Margo Wickersham. And I'll tell you what, it is, you and I have chatted. You've got an amazing story. So let's just dive right into it. Who's Margo?
Margo is a woman who is nothing if not persistent. And that has come in really handy for some of the battles and challenges that have come my way. You know, those aren't doled out evenly, it would seem. So I like to joke that I'm really being greedy about having character development. I'm going to have more character than anybody ought to have, and I should share it with some other people. But I have most recently won a battle with cancer during the pandemic. So I feel really good about that. I know it's amazing. It's amazing. I have 2 kids in college. I have a husband, 2 goofy dogs, and a lot of life to live. So it's been quite the journey. And I have learned that you think you can't go it. You think you can't go another day. You can't take another step forward. You take a deep breath and you do. You just keep taking another step forward.
That is, wow. That is amazing. Yeah. I think the battle that you went through in 2020 was something that no one ever wants to have to go through. And it's just, but you've persevered, you've busted right through that, and you are not going to be taken down. You have just said, nope, not today. Not ever.
Today, not this year.
Not this year. This is not my time. And I love the goofy dogs. That's what keeps us kind of balanced, is having those goofy dogs. And so let's get right into it. You're with eXp. And tell us 3 things that inspire you about eXp.
You know, there's so many, it's really hard to narrow it down to 3, but I'll try. I think first and foremost, I love that eXp is changing lives, truly changing lives, not a little bit changing lives, but dramatically changing and improving lives. It sounds too good to be true and like it's being overstated, and it's not. I see it all the time. So being part of an organization that is literally changing people's lives with this fantastic agent-centric culture and all the technology is phenomenal. So that is amazing. I love that the eXp culture is collaborative. Now, this is not something you find in every company. And it's not something you find in organizations that are sometimes in organizations that are very successful. You have success without collaboration. So you have silos, you have competition. So it's really rare to me, in my experience, to see an organization that is so collaborative across the board. I have seen no exceptions. And what does that mean to us? We need community. We need it. And the way that eXp survived and grew, doubled in size during the pandemic was the collaboration was virtual. We had to go to virtual. We weren't able to meet in person and all of that, but the community was still there. You can't fabricate that. You can't say, oh, now we can't do it in person. Let's go ahead and create a culture where we're going to collaborate and be there for each other all of a sudden overnight. It was there. It's in the DNA. Yeah. It's amazing. Everybody's invested in helping everybody else succeed. It's not, for me to succeed, you need to fail. I love that. Yeah.
You know, and I always say this, and that's something that gives me goosebumps. It's one team, one dream. And it just makes you think, because I've been in the business 35 years. I've been with some great brands, but I was always that agent that needed to just go out there and if it's to be, it's up to me. And when I joined eXp, it's just that one team, one dream is not just a cliche. It is the real deal.
No, it is.
And it's amazing. And it's a game changer. So you talked about this changing lives. There's no doubt. You talked about collaboration. I've actually been to more personal events, eXp personal events, just this year with Cabo and Scottsdale. We're going to be in Dallas. We had Sprint in Denver. We've got eXpCon in Vegas. We've got so many events. But we also have a very streamlined world that we get to work out of on a daily basis. So everything is just, all the stars are aligning.
All the
So
stars are aligned, and I liken it to media. We have multiple media, we have social media, that everything, we're going to get more media. We're not going to get less media. And so sometimes people will, kind of tend to think, well, we're overwhelmed with media. But I think of it this way, it's so many more ways to connect with people. We're all unique. Some people prefer one way over another. It depends on the application. We're trying really hard as human beings to stay connected. And whenever there's technology that can help us do that, that's amazing. So I love it. I mean, you think about it, I'm of the generation where some of the crankier people in my generation will say, social media, nobody talks to each other anymore. I completely disagree with that because of social media, I've been able to reconnect with people that I wouldn't know how to find. And I think a lot of us realize that technology can play an amazing role. And for Bella, having the world at our fingertips when everything shut down abruptly was amazing. Again, it was already there. They didn't have to go find a solution. It was already there because of the super innovative, always looking forward leadership. So
I know a lot of the folks talk about we were built for this.
We were,
yes. We were way ahead of our time. And now it's like, it's just fantastic to go in and, if I have a question, I can jump into the world and within minutes, bam, my answers are there, whether it be IT or onboarding or a broker question. I mean, it's just, everyone's so accessible, so wonderful to work with. And I don't spend my whole day trying to get one thing answered. I can go into the world, get my questions done. It's fantastic.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
And the third thing that I want to share with you that I love about EXP is that this is the one company in the real estate industry who has figured out a way to bring meaningful healthcare to agents. That's phenomenal. It's really hard to do. It's very complicated. It's a complicated and heavily monitored industry. And I think there was an article written by Jim Dalrymple with Inman back in February, where he interviewed different heads of brokerages and said, what are you doing for healthcare? We know this is a big issue for agents with people who have jobs that they're keeping just for benefits. We have people whose spouses are keeping jobs for just for benefits, with people working at Costco or Starbucks or whatever, just for benefits. This is upside down. And so for there to be a real set of options available to agents is a complete and total game changer. Talk about changing lives. This healthcare plan actually not only changed my life, it saved my life. And I'm happy to tell you how that worked if you'd like to know.
That's right. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it is truly amazing. So you talked about the changing lives, of course, the collaboration, but the benefits, something that most agents are thinking, what? They don't quite get that. So my question to you, Margo, is what would you like to say to the agents that are watching this video? What's your message to them? They haven't quite joined EXP yet. What's the message?
My message is this. Human nature is such that we resist change. So I get it. We are just by nature, we're bred to be consistently stay in the familiar wherever possible. So that's just the way our brains work. It helped us a lot 200,000 years ago, not super helpful these days. So I get that there's an initial resistance to considering a change. I get it. Put that aside and have a phone call with somebody about EXP. Just open the door and consider the possibility. If it's not for you, you'll find out. And if it is for you, you'll be so glad that you jumped in. Don't wait another minute. Yeah. Find out. Make an informed decision and check it out. You owe it to yourself to check it out. It's unbelievable.
You owe it to yourself to check it out. That is a huge takeaway. And my suggestion for everybody watching this. So Margo, thank you so much for being on today. This is Robert Weichelt with another episode of Weichelt Wednesday. Margo, you are awesome. I appreciate you so very much.
Thank you.